don't twist the fingers back like this. And shoulders are designed to be the most freely mobile joint in the body. That's why it's so easy to dislocate them, and you know why one of the main athletic injuries that you see is dislocation of the collarbone relative either to the collarbone relative to the scapula and the collarbone relative to the sternum. You get those two joints, they're very flimsy joints. But the upside of that is your arm can do all of this cool stuff because they're flimsy joints, right? And it has great survival value to be able to move the arm and the hand down to the fingertips in that wide range of motion. You can't do that with your hips, right? Because they're designed more for support, so that joint cannot be flimsy. It's carrying too much weight. But some people, through injury or whatever, can't move their arm, their shoulder past that point. So you see, the question is more, as you're doing these moves, you need to be sensitive to the situation of this shoulder. You'll run into a lot of people that cannot do this. A lot of people. 30 to 40% of the people you will work on cannot do this, right? They need some padding underneath the arm like this, right, to be up above their head like that, okay? Now people who are developing something like a frozen shoulder will often not be able to move beyond this, right? They can't scratch their heads, can't shampoo their heads anymore, can't stick their hands in their back pockets, you know. And so you need to be sensitive to that. So that's what I would tell you to watch out for. So if you got someone like that, you see, he can't do this, right? But he can do this, right? You can do this. Next best thing. And then you can do the same thing. It doesn't have quite that stretch to the whole upper body feeling, but still, it's good to be able to touch all of this, those structures there. Okay? And that is basically what we learned on the front side of the body, with the addition of what we learned today. So I'm going to finish. Yes.
I think I missed something when you correct the sheet.
Yeah.
And then you got hungry and you grabbed it.
Well, I didn't need to grab the sheet,
Okay.
but I can show it to you with grabbing the sheet if you want.
Yes.
So what I did was I just went underneath because I don't need to grab the sheet. The sheet's not bunching up in front of my hand, but if it is, you can grab the sheet. You see, you can do the same thing up here. You can grab the sheet. But that's if the sheet's bunching up. If you're pressing down into the table and the sheet's going with you, which it will sometimes. Right? And sometimes it's absolutely a riddle to me why it happens in some cases and why it doesn't in others. Like today, I mean, the sheet's behaving really well, whereas yesterday when I was working on her, or the day before, it was like bunching up all over the place every time I tried to get underneath her body. So we'll finish. Oh, as I'm finishing, I'm noticing that I have order up, so I'll do that because I'm noticing the temperature of the room is kind of cool. So I'll cover her up. Now, as I pull, notice what I'm doing with my body. This is all a gravitational thing again, okay? I'm falling forwards and I'm falling backwards, and I'm taking my hands and whatever I've got in my hands with me. Right? It happens to be your neck and head. Okay? Falling forwards, falling backwards. Here's how to do it with a lot of muscle energy. Okay? You see that? I'm not moving forward and backward hardly at all. I can feel I'm really straining my back muscles to provide support for the energy that's coming out of my shoulders. This is more movement and about 20% the energy that I was just using. So you see I'm getting to do my own movement practice plus relax at the same time, plus the work is more effective than what I was doing before. about that right now. You know, that's kind of a more advanced thing to do. But again, if you want to put a whole lot of oil on your hands and then get a hold of the sheet, and so that you get the oil more underneath there, you can do that. Okay.
Is her head lifted up a lot when you're doing this?
Well, the back of my hand is against the table.
Yeah. So it's
Right? So the head lifts up according to the thickness of my hand, plus I'm kind of squeezing a little bit, which is adding some density, you know, to the thickness of my hand, which is making the head go up a little bit, because I'm kind of going like that. Right? Okay, and now I'm going to gently turn the neck and head to one side. See how slowly I did that and how I really use it as a way of also lengthening the neck relative to the torso, using the head as kind of a grip for that. And then I'm going to support the neck and head and stretch the entire neck and shoulder. This is what we really want to practice this afternoon. Okay? This is what we want to focus on mostly. Plus, of course, whatever else you want to practice, but I want you all to focus, because this takes more time to learn than it looks like it might. All right? Because it looks kind of easy and flowing, but you have to take into account I've been doing it for 30 years, so it looks easy and flowing because I've been doing it for 30 years, right? You see, and I can penetrate in, and look how my hand stays on the table. Look how my forearm stays on the table. Remember what Maya said about how her experience changed? And she only had this much lift. She was only a couple of inches away from the table, and boom, all of that stress right up into my own shoulder. Here, suddenly relaxed. The whole shoulder joint relaxes. Okay? My wife and I, we work a lot with bodywork professionals to teach them how to stop hurting themselves. Because they'll be working for years, and just like Maya discovered, it's just something little that she was doing, and all of a sudden, wow, that's totally different. Right? So we spend a lot of time teaching people how to work gravitationally and with leverage. You know, like they're on the Aikido mat. So. If you want to, you can, just above the ear, get your fingertips sort of moving in small circles above the ear into this very large, very powerful muscle here called the temporalis, which, if you clench your jaw like this, feel just above your ear what happens. Feel all that movement up there? Okay. That is a major stress carrier muscle. Because whenever we're just, kind of grinning and bearing it, that muscle is always involved. And if you just get your fingers in there and let yourselves penetrate a little bit, it can be deeply, even hypnotically relaxing. for people. Right? Beautiful. So I'm just going to completely cover her up now.
In general, we can say that it's a good idea when we have doubt about how the body is built and so what can be possible this and that, just try our own body, like how easily try it is now, so where is
Absolutely.
So,
Right? So you can take your own fingers and kind of do little circles, and if you're touching too lightly, what you'll notice is that really doesn't do anything, right? But if you start penetrating, you go, whoa, now I'm kind of relaxing and getting a little bit dizzy at the same time, right? So you can really feel that. It's true. And then often at the end of the massage, I'll just take a place to come to actual stillness in the form of motionlessness, however, with a very clear point of contact somewhere. On the front of the body, I'll usually either choose just to hold the back of the neck and head or to hold the feet. Often placing your hands here could be a little too intimate for people, particularly women, if you got your hand close to the breasts. And then, if I got my little...
what about the head?
What about
the hands at the end?
Yeah, I just said you can hold the neck and head like this, right? Just in stillness. And then often I'll just let a little bit of, tiny little bit of, just the weight of my thumbs on her eyelids. You can feel really nice. And, kind of keeping the light from penetrating the eyelids like that will sometimes help people even more deeply relax at the end of the massage. So that's basically what we learned, everyone, and that's what we'll be trading back and forth tomorrow. And this afternoon and this evening, then, what you'll be doing is practicing elements of that are unclear to you. You might want to spend half the time on the back, half the time on the front, or all the time on the neck, or whatever it is you feel you want to practice. Okay? And you can decide that.